Yo, 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 what's going on, y'all? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Dr. Umar Johnson 3 times. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know what's going down, man. You know what's happening, everybody. That is right. We are here, and this is the Boxing Source Midweek Report. We are now here on January 8th, 2025. And man, we got a few things here that we're going to be talking about here on this Midweek Report. We're going to try to get as much as we can here with this particular Midweek Report, as they had like a lot of news that had been circulating in the boxing world here over the past couple of days. But two things here that we're mainly focusing on here for this midweek report, as it kind of like touches on what's going on Top Rank. You see there what's going. You see what's happening there in the background. You saw the thing there when you looked at the cover photo for this particular video. Man, we have a number of things here that we got going down when it comes to Top Rank Boxing. Um, some things, some will say is positive, some will say, that is a negative. You feel me? And the thing about it is that, well, we got a good amount of things to talk about when it comes to some of this news that had been going through, right? So, first of all, we at least here, at least what I want to do is I want to talk about this first topic, because it's something there that I've kind of like touched on multiple occasions over the past couple of days, right? And what if you were able to tune in to the War Week Boxing channel yesterday for Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields? I had a good amount of things to say about what was happening or what had been happening here in this particular situation when it came to Teofimo Lopez, right? So let's go through this thing here once again. You feel me? Um, so the news is that Teofimo Lopez apparently has turned down this offer, or the minimum offer, or whatever type of offer it was, to go ahead and face Subriel Matias and defend the WBO and lineal super lightweight title. And it was scheduled for Saturday, March 15th. Of course, yeah, Subriel Matias, former IBF super lightweight champion, had lost it to Liam Perro, all that type of stuff. Okay, cool. But of course, here the main focus is what's going on there with Teofimo Lopez. And for those that have been following the Boxing Source over the course of the past 12 months, when it comes to this thing here with Teofimo Lopez, it has really not looked good here for Teofimo Lopez. And it reminds me of the year that he had after he defeated Vasyl Lomachenko in 2020. So 2021, pretty much should have been 2021, was the year where Teofimo Lopez was basically on one, right? Because he felt like he was the number one guy, that he was a quote unquote face of boxing or whatever it was, after defeating Vasyl Lomachenko by decision to become the unified champion in the lightweight division at that time. Well, I mean, hey, he thought he was the man. He thought he could have been able to call the shots and all that type of stuff, but hey, didn't necessarily happen that way. And I'm going to get to what he was doing there in a moment. Quick shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. There, of course, got his great channel on YouTube. There, what's going on with you? You feel me? So we got that's going on, and what had happened was he had the whole thing, Teofimo Lopez, where he felt like he was the man after defeating Vasyl Lomachenko, but he had a mandatory defense, that was there for George Kambosos Jr., and it ended up going to purse bid. Why? Because he felt like he deserved more money than what was being offered by Top Rank. So went the purse bid. It's won by Triller. Triller won the bid with a bid of what, about $6 million, over $6 million or something like that. So it looked like Teofimo Lopez was seeing them dollar signs, right? Well, Triller didn't even have that fight. So he didn't have that fight. And that purse bid was Triller had the highest bid. The next highest bid was Matchroom Boxing. The third was Top Rank. So with Triller pretty much out the way, couldn't do what they could do. It ended up being Matchroom Boxing that held the fight between Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos Jr. And we all know what happened there. George Kambosos beat him. All right. So fast forward to 2024. Okay. Teofimo Lopez, WBO champion, super lightweight, had the win over Josh Taylor, right? But he could have been in position to fight a large-scale fight against Ryan Garcia. Didn't happen. Ended up being a whole thing about money. So Teofimo Lopez ends up fighting Jermaine Ortiz during Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas, and y'all know what happened at that, right? Okay. So, and the showing wasn't really good. Bad matchup. Jermaine Ortiz, a guy that moves a lot, a guy that, kind of like mixes a lot with defense and not that much offense. It was similar to Teofimo Lopez's fight against Sandor Martin. So it wasn't a good look for Teofimo Lopez. Then he has a fight against Steve Claggett in Miami Beach. It's supposed to be where Teofimo Lopez is based at, so to speak. But the venue at Miami Beach or Miami area ain't really big at all. So another not so good showing there for Teofimo Lopez, for somebody that is supposedly the WBO super lightweight champion, lineal super lightweight champion, had the win over Josh Taylor, former undisputed champion at super lightweight, right? So you would have thought, hey, well, they got this win over Josh Taylor, then he probably had the big head thing again, thinking he was a man at super lightweight and that he should be able to call the shots. Nope. So he has to fight against Steve Claggett. Top Rank approaches him pretty much and says, hey, we got a couple of things out here for you. We got to offer, you got some things here where you could have a fight still defending that WBO title at super lightweight, or you got the option to go up to welterweight and fight for the WBO welterweight championship against Brian Norman Jr. Now, this is before the whole thing with Brian Norman Jr. and Derek Cuevas, all right? Teofimo Lopez turns that down. Reportedly turns that down. Okay. So that's where you had the whole thing of the buzz about Teofimo Lopez potentially fighting the IBF welterweight champion, Jerome Boots Ennis. Quick shout out there, Ring Walk Boxing Podcast there. Shout out to my guy there, Ring Walk Boxing Podcast there. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. So, like I said, Teofimo Lopez reportedly turns down a fight against Brian Norman Jr. And then I got, reports that maybe you could have Teofimo Lopez fighting the IBF champion there and Jerome Boots Ennis. This was going to be, scheduled for here in 2025. That pretty much gets blown up and out of the way. Then we have this report from Mike Coppinger about a potential fight between Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias that could be scheduled for March. Now, with it being Mike Coppinger and who Mike Coppinger is affiliated with, a number of folks kind of felt like when that was pretty much put out there on the news, that it was basically, set in stone or whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but could be a potential thing in the works, or maybe it isn't quite done yet. So I was like, okay. After about a few days, we didn't get an announcement. Nothing put out there. And now we got reports from the past couple of days that Teofimo Lopez reportedly turned down what was offered there to fight Subriel Matias. And it was reported that it was like the base minimum that Teofimo Lopez would have been able to get for the fight against Subriel Matias. So with that being said, that fight is off. It was like some folks thought it would be Saturday, March 15th. No, that thing ain't happening. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I mean, now there's like reports about, maybe somebody else within Top Rank potentially fighting Subriel Matias there in an eliminator bout. We got to see if that's going to still be in the works. As of about a couple hours ago, that may still be in the works. I think Jake Donovan had reported about it as far as like, Elvis Rodriguez versus Subriel Matias in the IBF eliminator bout. So we got to see how that kind of like situates itself over the next couple of days here, right? But here with Teofimo Lopez, right? Pretty much like said, he was a turn down king in 2024. Now here he is once again with another offer coming from Top Rank saying that he doesn't have this fight here against Subriel Matias. And that doesn't even include reports about potentially having Teofimo Lopez facing Devin Haney. So now you have all of these potential bouts that have been out there for Teofimo Lopez here at 140 pounds that he declined, and also 2 bouts at 147 pounds that he looks like he's declined. And well, when that's said, man, Top Rank is basically like, that's it. They're pretty much like at their last straw. They're at their last nerve with Teofimo Lopez. And this has reminded me of when you had an undefeated fighter in Mikey Garcia that ended up not being in action under Top Rank for a long time. Now, this is Mikey Garcia was one fighter that was really doing some work, out there in the lighter weight classes there. This is, before he had, those fights at 140, 147 pounds or whatever it was, right? So he had a fight against Juan Carlos Burgos in January of 2014 at the theater at Madison Square Garden. Okay. He was a WBO super featherweight champion. WBO, as some people say, what Bob orders, right? After that fight, you didn't see Mikey Garcia back in the ring until July of 2016. So what does that tell you? It tells you that Mikey Garcia was under contract with Top Rank up to a certain point, and they said, hey, if you ain't willing to have these fights or agree to this or agree to the money, then you know what? We'll still have you on the contract. Unless somebody else buys you out, we'll just put you on ice. Now, here we are with Teofimo Lopez, and he's having what happened in 2024 going into these first few days here in 2025, and you could potentially see Teofimo Lopez on ice until the end of his contract. And yesterday on the War Week Boxing channel, it was reported that Teofimo Lopez is under contract with Top Rank until the end of 2026. And when I heard that, I was like, ooh, boy, that's why I mentioned this whole thing with Mikey Garcia. And the thing is like you when you're Teofimo Lopez, you had these opportunities with Top Rank. Top Rank is giving you these opportunities to be able to build yourself as somebody that could be up there in as far as like the star and everything like that. Yo, quick shout out to Lance Meyer there in the chat, man. What's going on with you, man? Chilling out here on the Midweek Report. But we're talking about Teofimo Lopez here, right? Like, let me see here, man. I'm gonna see what I could bring up when it comes to Teofimo Lopez if I can. But remember, before Teofimo Lopez had the bout with Vasily Lomachenko. He had that run where he was, stopping folks, knocking folks out, and all that type of stuff. One, and then two, they had the instance where they were trying to feature him on Heisman night beforehand. 2018 against Mason Menard, right? 2019 against Richard Comey. And at that time, that Richard Comey fight, that was pretty much like I think it was where he was set up to fight Vasily Lomachenko and had that stoppage win over Richard Comey. And his momentum was pretty much at the highest it could go before his fight against Vasily Lomachenko. And then when he was able to have that win, then that pretty much like put him like way over the top. And that's when he was talking about what was going on, I guess, with Top Rank. He didn't necessarily agree with the financials or whatever they were trying to talk about. But the thing is, he went public at that time. He went that public around that time, talking about Todd DuBois at Top Rank. And that's why you had the whole thing go down when that purse bid went the way it went. And he lost out on that $6+ million thing with Triller. And then he ended up, having the bout rescheduled over and over and over and over again until it finally happened there on the Matchroom Boxing, and he ended up losing to George Kambosos while trying to make weight. And that was reported that he was trying to make weight the whole time the fights were being rescheduled. So has that loss. Tries to get himself, in recovery mode. Gets back in the thing there with Top Rank. Has a fight against Pedro Campa at Resorts World in Las Vegas in a 10 or something like that. I mean, some folks know what I'm talking about with that. Then he had a fight with Sandor Martin at Madison Square Garden. Come on, man. I was there. And that was Heisman weekend. Madison Square Garden against Sandor Martin. Headlining. He headlined that. And when I tell y'all that Madison Square Garden wasn't even like halfway full, because they didn't pretty much have like the whole arena open for that fight card. Oh, they pretty much had that lower, 100 section, 100 area, or whatever it was, open. And when I tell you that part wasn't even filled up, it wasn't. So you could imagine how much Top Rank lost on that one front, right? Now, you talk about the fight itself. He struggles against Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin, defensive guy, really doesn't engage that much, moves around a lot, has something there where Teofimo Lopez had been knocked down in that fight. Split decision. And then after that fight, guess what? Teofimo Lopez don't even show up to the post-fight press conference. Jared Anderson did. Xander Zayas did. Keyshawn Davis did. Teofimo Lopez, he ain't do that. Feel me? So you go from that. You had a fight against Josh Hedler. You had a performance against Josh Hedler. You get the win. Yeah, exactly, MMA. Tickets weren't selling. Man, they weren't selling, dog. Definitely weren't selling. Listen, when I tell you the thing that I remember about being out there for that fight was before the fight, when I went out to the real talk, went out to the Moynihan Train Hall across the street. And they got this, what is it, Jacob's Pickles little restaurant, and they got this mac and cheese with some like, what is it, like barbecue chicken or something, or it was like a biscuit with fried chicken. Yo, I'm telling you, man, I couldn't even finish it, man. I'm telling you, hey, you gotta stop by there. If you haven't been there, just quick plug. You haven't been there, Jacob's Pickles, out there in Moynihan Train Hall. I'm telling you, you get the mac and cheese out there, it's on point. But don't go there when it's like really busy, or they might forget your order. All right, I'm telling you, they might forget your order. That happened. All right, bet. Now, like I said, Madison Square Garden, yeah, tickets weren't selling. They weren't selling. but that was a measuring stick there for Teofimo Lopez, right? Because if you had those fights against Vasily Lomachenko and you talking about, hey, you represent Brooklyn and all this type of stuff, you Brooklyn now, that's your birth, that's the spot of your birth and everything like that, then you're supposed to be able to pull a crowd. And we weren't able to do that. And he was asking for the money that he's asking for. And he wasn't able to pull a crowd. So there you go. Then you have the fight against Josh Taylor in the smaller venue at Madison Square Garden, at the theater at Madison Square Garden. Had the performance that he had, right? Okay, cool. Gets the win. Lineal champion. Cool. Next thing happens. 2024, what I said, that it was reported that Teofimo Lopez could have fought Ryan Garcia, but he wasn't cool with the base salary for that pay-per-view that would have happened. He would have had the base salary at over $1 million reported, and he would have had a percentage of the pay-per-view, and he turned it down. And so what did Top Rank do? They said, man, you know what? Okay, let's see if we can feature you on a card, put you in something here during Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. Has the opponent there, Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz, had lost to Vasily Lomachenko before, had that fight, a tough fight with Vasily Lomachenko. But Jermaine Ortiz is like Sandor Martin, real talk, moving around a lot, not really there with the offense, mostly defense, not really there, right in front of his opponent. And Teofimo Lopez has trouble with those type of guys. So y'all know about how that fight went. Really bad aesthetically. Went 12 rounds. Didn't look all too hot. Then he had a fight with Steve Claggett. Steve Claggett, been there around like 140 pounds. It floated around a couple fights above 140 pounds. But still, with his fight against Teo, another one where, Teofimo Lopez did what he did, almost a shutout, but still wasn't, that exciting in comparison to what he was doing on his way up there in the lightweight division. So now it's like, okay, you had these two fights in 2024. You really ain't impressing folks in 2024. And then now you still think that you have this pool where you could feel like you could call the shots. Nah, that ain't how it work over at Top Rank. Top Rank don't play like that. So with him turning down all them fights, now here we are in 2025. Could have potentially had a fight here against Subriel Matias where would have had some interest. Subriel Matias being a former world champion, Subriel Matias being a guy that has a style that might work well with Teofimo Lopez, where Teofimo Lopez has an opportunity to look good against an opponent like Subriel Matias. But up to this point, it looks like nope, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. You feel me? So now it's looking really, really bad here for Teofimo Lopez. And real quick, a shout out to Malaza Sabor says, best way Keyshawn can move away from Andy Cruz is fighting Teofimo at 140 pounds. Now, interesting that you say that because, oh man, I forgot when it was specifically. Hold on a second. Let me see if I could try this out here real fast, right? Because you mentioned that Teofimo Lopez and Keyshawn Davis, right? Okay. Now, I'm sure y'all remember what it was like early last year. I think it was around like February of last year or something like that. But it stemmed over to like, May or June of last year. You had this whole thing where Teofimo Lopez and Keyshawn Davis were going back and forth with each other. And Keyshawn Davis said, "You know what? I'm ready for all that smoke there with you, Teofimo Lopez. So, hey, you could go over to the Boxing Source TikTok page, and the first video that I put up on that page was Keyshawn Davis talking about fighting Teofimo Lopez. So he was calling out Teofimo Lopez then. He was like, listen, I don't care if I'm at 135. You there at 140. I don't care. I'll go up to 140 and I'll fight you at 140. I don't care. And that was back then, before Keyshawn had his 2024, which was a lot better than what Teofimo Lopez was doing. You know what I'm saying? Andy Cruz 4-0, Keyshawn amateurs. Yep. Yeah, I know. But Andy Cruz currently there at Matchroom Boxing, got his upcoming fight. What is that? January 25th on that card with Diego Pacheco versus Steven Nelson. So Andy Cruz got an interesting fight coming up on that card. You feel me? But even then, like Keyshawn Davis was looking for that smoke with Teofimo Lopez. Some people probably would have been interested in a fight between Teofimo Lopez and Keyshawn Davis. But Teo being Teo just ain't, really to do, wasn't really there interested in all that. But let's fast forward to right now. Teofimo Lopez turning down a fight against Subriel Matias and may have been scheduled for March 15th. Now, what is out there for Teofimo Lopez? Not really sure about all that. Not really sure about all that. Let me see here, man. I'm gonna try something also real quick. I don't know if y'all are feeling what's happening right now, but I'm gonna do this too. I may open the phone lines here for this. If y'all you're willing to call in, because we, if we you want to chime in on what's happening, then we can do that. So, all right. So yeah, let me see here, real quick. He says, saying because Keyshawn and Teofimo are top ranked. Yeah, Superman Matias is not. Yeah, I mean, Matias is pretty much like a free. Well, not necessarily a free agent, but he ain't necessarily with like a Matchroom. I don't think currently or whatnot. But yeah, it does make more sense. But now you see what's happening there with Keyshawn Davis, and I'll go into that here a little bit later with Keyshawn, right? But with Teofimo Lopez, now it's like you really don't have that many options out there left. You don't have, someone like a Turkey Al Sheikh to kind of like bail you out. You're under contract with Top Rank. Top Rank has first dibs. So unless you get something where like, hey, someone else offers a certain amount of money to have you fight somebody else, and Top Rank isn't, holds no responsibility or no bearing on it, then they'd be like, okay, why not? You know what I mean? But I doubt that there's going to be anyone else that's going to be interested in, putting up the money for Teofimo Lopez to have a fight. If Teofimo Lopez is, asking for a certain price to fight certain fighters, you know what I mean? So, with that being said, it ain't looking good for Teofimo Lopez. Like I said what I said yesterday, but it ain't looking good for Teofimo Lopez. Not at all. So you're gonna have to figure out what's gonna go down, what's happening. I know that there's some folks that may say, hey, he still may be dealing with a few things outside of the ring, and because he's dealing with that, what's happening outside of the ring, he ain't really ready to fully commit to, do something or make a move inside the ring. But I'm like, listen, you really don't have much time to do that. You're pretty much like at your, around where you could be as far as like your peak in your professional career. If you're going to be put on the shelf there for at least a year, that's not going to work for you at all. You feel me? A good question. If he doesn't get Subriel Matias or Keyshawn Davis, He got nothing. What is he gonna do? Fight another Steve Claggett? Listen, exactly, exactly. Like, I mean, and Steve Claggett, and remember when that was like announced, it's like Steve Claggett, like where did they pull Steve Claggett from? You feel me? Like, I'm like, what he was basically having fights in Canada, so that was like what, a one-off deal or something like that. So who are they gonna find here for Teofimo Lopez to fight and pay him and put it at a venue where they feel like they could get a good return on the fight? Nah, they tried it twice in 2024, and they got this fights against the Steve Claggett, as you mentioned, and the fight there against Jermaine Ortiz. One and as they say, the math ain't math. So with that being said, uh that's why was talking about what I was talking about with the updates on it, as far as like Teofimo Lopez turning down a joint, and then what's going on. And as of what is it, like I said about an hour ago, Jake Donovan had reported that the IBF had sent invitations for Subriel, Matias, and Elvis Rodriguez to see if they would accept something to begin negotiations for an IBF title eliminator. And both of those fighters have until January 11th to respond in. You feel me? So it's just a whole messy situation right there. You feel me? It said, yeah, Teofimo put himself on Black Friday itself. Man, I'm telling you, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let me see here, man. I'm gonna just drop this here at the bottom. You feel me? I'm gonna just try that out here once again. Put it on the joint there. Like, if y'all have any thoughts in reference to Teofimo Lopez and what's going down with him, you see the number there, 571-449-7217 to get in on the Boxing Source Midweek Report. Feel me? All right, so that's pretty much like what I had, at least for now, for Teofimo Lopez, because like the way that he's approached things here over the past 12 months ain't the business. But talking about business, let's talk about the businessman, Keyshawn Davis. And see here, that was announced yesterday, Keyshawn Davis will vie for the WBO lightweight title as he faces the champion Denys Berinchyk. And it'll be Friday, February 14th, at the theater in Madison Square Garden, headlining the bout. And it is the first defense for Denys Berinchyk with that WBO lightweight title, as he got it, through the vacant title. He defeated Emmanuel Navarrete by decision to win that. And about that, it just was not good at all, man. It wasn't good. It didn't look good at all, man. Not at all. But hey, Denys Berinchyk won it. Yep. Then it's a title fight. It's a title fight. I'm gonna see here. Hold on a second. I don't know if this is gonna quite work, but I'm going to do this. Hopefully y'all are able to still hear me, but you see there on the screen, World Lightweight Championship. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. World Lightweight Championship there with Denys Berinchyk versus Keyshawn Davis, headlining a fight card there by Top Rank on ESPN. Okay, so with that being said, there you're gonna have Denys Berinchyk. He is there with he's gonna have a lot to prove here in this particular sense, man. In this one, I'm telling you, he was able to, like I said, get that win there to win the belt. So now here he is going to have that defense against Keyshawn Davis. Now, I recently posted this here as far as like this notification. So let me see here. This is on the website, theboxingsource.net. So I'm going to see here we could go ahead and hit that share button on the joint there. Once again, if you are enjoying what's going down, you can hit the like button, whether you're on Rumble or on YouTube there. So that's what's going down. All right, here we go. Right. All right, bet. So yeah, this is on the Boxing Source webpage, right? Yeah, like this little picture here with Keyshawn Davis. Yeah, I took that joint real quick. Just so plugged up. All right, yeah. Top Rank recently announced WBO lightweight title will be on the line at the Theater in Madison Square Garden on Friday, February 14th, as Denys Berinchyk defends his title against Keyshawn Davis. Chops a fight card that will be televised live on ESPN. And this world title fight, you're gonna have Xander Zayas going up against Slava Spomer and Vito Milnicki Jr. facing Connor Coyle, right? Berinchyk there is at 19-0 with 9 wins by way of knockout. Crafty fighter, able to outbox his opponents. I gotta correct something there. He got wins over Ivan Mendy, Anthony, Can You Dig It, Yigit, and Emmanuel Navarrete to become the WBO lightweight champion. And as I mentioned, their first defense of the title. You got Keyshawn Davis there at 12-0, 8 KOs. Had the stoppage win over Jose Pedraza. Had the decision win over Miguel Madueño. And that 2-round stoppage of Gustavo Lemos in Norfolk to, get to the spot where he's at in the WBO rankings, there real quick. So that's what, you had there in that particular instance, right? So Ricardo Mayorga, as far as like Teofimo Lopez, well, he might have to go that route instead of the route that he's going now. Because listen, man, that whole thing as far as like how he approached it, how he's approaching things here, not a good look at all. Not a good look at all. You feel me? So, that's why the route that he's going ain't looking all too hot. And Keyshawn Davis is like on the flip side right now, on the flip side. You know what I mean? So Keyshawn is quickly rising there on the top rank, right? And after he had that fight against Gustavo Lemos, the representatives there at top rank pretty much told me, plan for Keyshawn Davis, get him in a big fight right after this fight, that fight that he had in Norfolk. And then after that, if he's able to win, come back to Norfolk. The fight is that world title fight. Here's the world title fight. Keyshawn is able to, go in there, show up, and show out against Denys Berinchyk and get a stoppage win. His stock will be going up really, really high. And if they come back to Norfolk, it ain't going to be at the Scope Arena. They're going to try to, I don't even know if it's going to be in Norfolk. If they don't have a larger venue there than the Scope Arena at Norfolk, they'll probably go over to Hampton or something like that, or I don't know, Virginia Beach, I don't know, Newport News, something, a large venue to host Keyshawn Davis defending the WBO lightweight title. He takes care of business here against Denys Berinchyk. You feel me? So this fight right here on February 14th is going to be where a number of people will be interested to see what happens with Keyshawn Davis and if he's able to become a world champion in his 13th professional fight. Yes, he is a Olympic silver medalist. Yes, he did lose to Andy Cruz in the gold medal match and all that type of stuff there, right? Keyshawn can become a super Zab Judah, one of the most beloved American champions. Hey, man, Zab Judah, my guy, man. Zab Judah is my guy. He was my guy when he was coming up, too. Became undisputed welterweight champion, too. Defeating Spinks there in the rematch. Knocked him out. You know what I'm saying? Keyshawn could, kind of like be like that, but he's a fighter that, has the skills out there, with doing this thing in Norfolk, working with his head trainer there, Brian Bomac McIntyre, 2-time Boxing Source Trainer of the Year. And he is definitely doing work, definitely doing some work. You know what I mean? So he's going to have something there coming up February 14th at the Theater at Madison Square Garden. Now, at least for me, man, Like I'm having plans to try to get out there, but listen, I as far as like driving out there, no, no. On a Friday, no, I'm not doing it. I did it. I did it when you had the Sandy Rhyme versus Michaela Mayer fight there at Madison Square Garden. I went out there on Friday. I left. I'm based in the DMV area. I left at about like 2 o'clock. I ain't getting into Manhattan until close to 8. Now it's supposed to be about 4.5 hours to get into New York City. I ain't get there until about 8. Nah, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that again, dog. I ain't doing that again. Shout out to 2 Cents in the building, man. Salute, Fight Words with Bang. Yeah. Hey, y'all check out 2 Cents. Y'all check out Fight Words with Bang. Subscribe to him. Had a great conversation there with Brother Bang out there on, earlier today. So y'all go ahead and y'all check them out. All right, for sure. Back to this thing here. Like I said, man, if I have to get there on Thursday, the 13th, man, I listen, I'll do it. I don't care. Because Friday, man, I don't want to go through that again. I'll make that decision here probably later today or later tonight. If I'm to just try to go there in the morning or whatever it is, I don't know, dog. But yeah, it's crazy trying to get into New York City on Friday. It is insane. You feel me? Yeah. So, but yeah, as far as like the event itself, we got to look forward to seeing what's going on there with Keyshawn Davis. Like I said, with Denys Berinchyk having a boxing style that he does, gives a number of people fits there with how he approaches his opponent. So it's going to be an interesting bout for Keyshawn Davis, how he's going to be able to handle it. But like I said, if he gets to the point where he has a great showing there against Denys Berinchyk, could get a stoppage, then man, sky's the limit out there for Keyshawn Davis after that. Like I said, to win the WBO lightweight title and to kind of get to the point where he could host a fight defending the WBO lightweight title later this year, or as I was mentioning before, he could be in a unification bout real soon. Well, I don't know about real soon, but maybe by October or November of this year, if he wins this bout, could be in a unification bout. We'll see. But that's the key bout there on that card. You got other action that's going to be on there, as I mentioned, with Xander Zayas taking on Slava Spomer and Vito Nicky Jr. facing Conor Coyle. Now, thing about it is, with those two fights, it's interesting because earlier last year, when Vito Nicky Jr. had signed a promotional deal with Top Rank, I talked with Vito Nicky Jr. soon after that happened, and at the time, it looked like they may have tried to line things up for Vito Nicky Jr. to face Xander Zayas probably around sometime this year, right? And given that both of those guys are around the New York City area, or with Zayas, he fights multiple times there in New York, has the Puerto Rican following there. You know how Top Rank usually does, something on Puerto Rican weekend in June, and you got Vito Nicky Jr. there, based in Jersey. They could have set up something for a fight between those two, but now Vito Nicky Jr. is facing Conor Coyle. And Conor Coyle is rated number 3 in the WBA at middleweight. So we're gonna have Vito Nicky Jr. at middleweight. That's the thing about it. You feel me? Smack like that. What up though? Yeah, you said Berinchyk is tough. Yeah. And shout out to 2 Cents. Exactly. Keyshawn's activity catapulted him to the front of the line. And it's a crazy situation, at least to me, right? Because you saw what he did there earlier last year, right? And I talked about this earlier. Well, I'm going to even go back further than that. He had to fight against Nahir Albright in Texas. Ends up being a no contest, right? But then goes into 2024, and he has that stoppage win there over Jose Pedraza. In a great performance, and just close the show in the 6th round. Stops Jose Pedraza. Then he pretty much steals the spotlight in Newark in July against Miguel Madueno when the main event there was Shakur Stevenson. When Shakur Stevenson was supposed to defend that WBC lightweight title at the time, there against what it was, Artem Harutyunyan, right? And actually Keyshawn sold the show because the fight before that, or the fight after that, and before the Shakur fight, nobody was really paying attention to that fight, man. That first fight between Osaki Foster and Robeson Conceição, nobody was really paying attention to that. I mean, just being real, they weren't doing that, man. Listen, I even caught somebody sleeping during the fight. But that's a whole nother story, and that person denies that they were sleeping during that fight. But that's a whole nother story. All right? Yeah. All right, bet. Yeah, no doubt, Box Addicts, no doubt on that, right? Hold up, he said, man. Oh, shoot. Hey, man. He smack like that. You got get the vitamins. I ain't saying like Hulk Hogan, okay? We ain't talking about Hulk Hogan over here. But get some vitamins. If you have ginger tea, drink a lot of ginger tea. A lot of fluids, and see if you get that out of your system or whatnot, and then you'll be straight. Colin Sabora says, Keyshawn wins the title, needs to defend it and make a name for himself first, then a mega unification. That'll be equal at the suits and tables. But no, listen, like I said, from last year, going to the fight with Keyshawn, Gustavo Lemos, I talked with one of those main representatives there at Top Rank, and they said they were planning on Keyshawn Davis having that opportunity to fight for a world title, and then after that, getting back to Norfolk to defend the title there in Norfolk area. And you see what's happening now. So what that person said is pretty much coming true, at least right now. So for Keyshawn, all he got to do is just take care of business. I mean, he's the businessman. Says Neon Green. Well, let me tell you something, brother. No. Okay. You know what? I'm done with all that. All right. But yeah, with Keyshawn, I'm telling you, this is 2025 is going to be a really interesting year for Keyshawn Davis. 2024 was a great year for Keyshawn Davis, but now that momentum has carried him over to have a potentially huge 2025. And it's pretty much, and for some, it may be unexpected, because of where he was at in his professional career, just only having, at least up to this particular point, 12 professional fights. So we'll see how this goes. But you got that, like I said, in the main event there, February 14th. You got Xander Zayas there going up against Slava Spomer, two undefeated fighters. They're in the super welterweight division, both ranked in the WBO rankings. So it's going to be an interesting bout there, particularly for Xander Zayas, as he wants to continue to be a top contender there at the 154-pound division. But it's going to be some time, at least I feel like, with him being under top rank for him to potentially fight for a world title. You know what I mean? Like where Xander Zayas is right now in his professional career is completely different than what you see here with Keyshawn Davis, right? Both undefeated, both rated number one in the WBO in their respective divisions. But you see where Keyshawn Davis is right now, and then you see where Xander Zayas is at this particular point. And Xander Zayas' last fight there at the theater at Madison Square Garden, he went through, the full 10 rounds there in that particular bout that he had. So, it's going to be something to see where Xander Zayas is at this instance against Slava Spomer. They have identical records there at 20-0, right? And Spomer, pretty much had gotten his wins over in Germany and all that type of stuff. And this will be his first fight on U.S. soil. So that'll be interesting to see how he performs here against Xander Zayas on that co-feature bout. And, we see what they, added on here for the ESPN Plus portion. It's going to be interesting. But I also did mention there with Vito Mielnicki Jr., he's going to have his pro debut in the middleweight division, as far as like his first fight in the middleweight division. Of course, to talk with his trainer there, Coach Ronnie Shields, over there in Texas, and he's going to be, preparing Vito Mielnicki Jr. to perform there at 160 pounds. Now, I will say this. Not from Vito Mielnicki's last fight that he had at the theater at Madison Square Garden, but the fight that he had over at T-Mobile Arena in May, right? It did take him a little bit to get to 154 pounds for that fight. Okay. You feel me? Shout out to Ray Davis in the building, man. Of course, like I said, had a great conversation there earlier today. So he was on there on the channel as well. So we got everything. You got the family out here, on the channel. This was conversation with Claymore and Rain earlier today. Great conversation. Like I said, you had brother Ray Davis on there. You had my guy. Over there, bang over on their conversation as well. Multiple folks that were able to contribute on to that conversation that we had earlier there. Like I said, with Claymore Rain. So shout out to you jumping on here as well. But yeah, so you had a situation there with Vito Mielnicki Jr. now in the middleweight division, and he's going to be on that thing there for ESPN, right? Like I said, I gotta go back to see if they said what time this joint gonna be at. Because like I said before, man, I gotta get there in the morning or something because man, I'm not going to. Okay, they said the thing is supposed to. This portion is starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time. All right, bet. So at 9 p.m. Eastern time is when those 3 fights will take place, right? All right, bet. You said tickets are going on sale tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time, right? So those around the New York City area and all that type of stuff, those are around the Virginia area, fans of Keyshawn Davis and want to make that trip up to New York. Y'all better get the ticket and y'all better get, your hotel reservations. And man, listen, see, that's the thing. You putting this thing on Valentine's Day. It's the weekend. It's Friday, man. I've already seen them hotel prices. Man, y'all know that song. Them prices way too high. You need to cut it. Listen, it's insane. It's insane. All right. So, but those 3 fights are on there. You got, like I said, Abdullah Mason going up against Manuel James. You had Manuel James losing a 10-round decision to Rolly Romero. You had Abdullah Mason that had a whole bunch of fights in 2024. Like you said, our prospect of the year. You know what I mean? But had that, crazy bout against, Johan Vasquez on that joint or whatever it was, man. I'm telling you, man, that 2-round bout was insane at Norfolk. It was insane. And then you also had, Rohan Polanco against Juan Carlos Torres. You know what I mean? So that's going to be an interesting bout there. Rohan Polanco there at 14-0. John Carlos Torres at 22-1 with 17 KOs. That'd be an interesting bout. A real interesting bout. You feel me? And you also had Tiger Johnson against Keyshawn Toller. Nico Ali Walsh versus TBA. Keyshawn Davis has recently been added on the card, so you're going to see Keyshawn Davis on the card. And they say Jared Anderson's going to be on the card, but I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Say Jersey Rutherford. Yeah, 10 minutes from the city, 30 from hey, that's what's up. So yeah, all you got is that little drive over there, man. So you get right in there, you there. So that's what's up. You feel me? Jermaine Wood, I recently missed this run. He says if Loma don't retire and Keyshawn wins, and that will be his next big fight after getting the title defense at home. Bob will want that. Yeah, Bob will want that. He definitely will want that. I just got to see what Vasyl Lomachenko does. I mean, he won the title, IBF title, had the stoppage win over George Kambosos. And then after that, he was like, yeah, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to chill out for the rest of 2024. And, it seemed like, people are saying that maybe he might end up retiring, but I mean, we'll see. Like I said, he's there standing as the IBF champion at 135 pounds, unless if they say, hey, maybe we'll get him in there against Zaur Abdullayev, or maybe, just maybe, you have him in there against Ray Murataya. I don't know. But if they get, Vasyl Lomachenko in there for a fight, at least to have a title defense before unification, then those are suggestions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Juice Man. He says, I haven't seen Top Rank or Jared Anderson confirm he's on the February 14th card, but everyone else got posters. Exactly. All the stuff, like I said, with the main event, with the co-feature bout, with the third bout that's on the main card there on ESPN, all them other bouts that are on ESPN Plus, and then the thing they're adding with Keyshawn Davis, and Keyshawn Davis having something that he posted on social media that he's going to be on there. That should be his second professional fight. So if all of them got something, then how come Jared Anderson ain't got nothing? And as I mentioned earlier, right, on Claymore Range channel and all that, I talked with Jared Anderson's original trainer and Derry Riley, and up until what was that, about 5 hours or so ago, when I talked with him, he said he didn't hear nothing about Jared Anderson fighting on February 14th. So whatever's on BoxRec, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from. Don't know where the source is or anything like that. Nope, haven't seen it. So as far as I'm concerned, if I can't make a phone call right now. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna follow up with him yet. But until I hear from, I guess, Coach Derry Riley or somebody else or whatever, I don't know what's next for Jared Anderson. And like I said, man, shout out to folks that was there in the earlier conversation. There, brother Ray Davis, and my guy Bang, who's based over there in Houston. So Houston, that's the whole thing. Rap a lot. You got Jay Prince over there, and Jared Anderson. Had moved from Toledo, set up shop in Houston, and was doing work in Houston for that fight that he had there against Martin McCauley, and pretty much put Derry Riley over to the side for that fight. And so it's full-time Sugar Hill Stewart. And we'll see what happened. But immediately after that fight, back in the locker room, you had, Bob Arum look, I know you wanted to go out there and fight Martin McCauley to see if you were a top contender. And you couldn't get the job done. Now, this is why we brought you up the way that we brought you up. Now, we're going to have you start all over again and give you some soft touches, build you up, build your confidence up, and then maybe we'll get you there to contend for a world title in 2026. Right? So, yeah. Liza says, hey, we don't need an undefeated heavyweight. Anderson can pick himself up and make a name for himself. Hey, you'll see. Like I did talk with him for a little bit over in Norfolk when Keyshawn Davis had that fight card in Norfolk at the Scoop Arena. And he still is like mild mannered and all that type of stuff too. So, and he has a young child now, so I don't know, maybe some things are different, man. Everybody, a lot of people, a lot of fight fans know about his conversation that he had with Roy Jones Jr. at the time. Then he's talking about, what, I'm only 23 or whatever it was. But like here, and the other thing there, at that point, you kind of like seen him have the thing where he had the mentality of not really being fully committed to fighting. And when you have that type of mentality in the heavyweight division, that ain't a good thing. That ain't a good thing at all, man. You know what I'm saying? He says, guy knocked out Anderson was, stop early in his career, go back and train. Yeah, he lost to Michael Hunter in that fight, man. You talk about a whole bunch of but he didn't really like go down on the canvas like clean or nothing like that. But the amount of punches that were landed on Martin McCauley there from Michael Hunter, man, I was like, jeez, boy, I don't understand how he didn't go down from them punches, but he got rocked. He got rocked for sure in that fight. But that, up to this point is a lone loss there for Martin McCauley, and we're still waiting on that announcement of when Martin McCauley is supposed to be fighting what it is, Efe Ajagba. There is supposedly an IBF eliminator, right? So still remains to be seen when that's supposed to be taking place. You're right. You're going to have a Congolese fighter there, Martin McCauley, going up against a Nigerian fighter there in Efe Ajagba. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if they get hosted in Africa or something like that, but that would be something if they could do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's that, and I pretty much like talked about. I gave you the schedule there for February 14th. There for the theater at Madison Square Garden. Like I said, if I get over there, I'm gonna see about trying to get it on February 13th or something. I don't know, man, because Friday. So I'll figure it out. I'll probably figure it out here later tonight how that's gonna work out. You feel me? I didn't know if like anybody had a thing there where they were gonna call in or whatnot, but like I said, the lines open on that and stuff like that. So we'll see how that's going down. Or it says, heavyweights real hard hitting combat and needs to be hungry. Yeah, that's the thing with Jared Anderson. Like you can't go in the ring half stepping at all. You're gonna get pretty much like steamroll or whatever it is if you come in there half stepping. Now, as far as like this fight against Martin McCauley, like he fought, he was competitive. He tried to give his best effort, but he just didn't have the I guess enough power behind the punches to really affect Martin McCauley, because McCauley was taking a few of those punches and it looked like he was just laughing. Boom, boom. And drew punches back and knocked down Jared Anderson. And that was pretty much that. You know what I mean? That's going to be crazy. Shout out to OG says, Keyshawn is going to be the scariest at 135 by the time he's at 515. He also don't have to leave 135. He's cutting super easy. See, that is the thing right there, man. If he has no issues making 135 pounds, he could be there for a good while, right? And like I was saying earlier, 2025 is going to be a very key year for Keyshawn Davis, given the plans that Top Rank has out here for him and what could be in store for him after the two fights that they had planned for Keyshawn Davis. This is fight number one. If he wins, he could have the defense of the WBO title in fight number two in Norfolk at his hometown. And then fight number three is a unification bout, either against Vasyl Lomachenko or, as I mentioned earlier, Gervonta Tank Davis. Just kind of putting it out there, but not necessarily sure how that's gonna go, but we'll see. Because first you have what's gonna happen on March 1st at the Barclays Center, and Tank gets that win. Then he said he's going to call out somebody after that fight. It's gonna be interesting. So we'll see. And like I said earlier, we had a conversation there with Tank Davis. Some people were trying to figure out or try to find out who it is. And he's like, he's, at or around, 135 pounds. So, I had some people guessing. Like I said, I threw out the name Shakur Stevenson. A couple of other people threw out Shakur Stevenson. And like, nope. He like, nope, ain't it. Someone said Keyshawn Davis. He was like, nope. And I'm like, maybe Keyshawn Davis. But anyone else outside of that, I really can't see who it could be. I just can't. At least not at 135, I can't. So there's there, man. Colin Sabor says what? In heavyweight, that Mayweather style doesn't work. Need a jab like Larry Holmes to do that. Yeah, like, pretty much like kind of like a shell there at heavyweight. No, not necessarily, unless if you're like one of those super heavyweights. You got, Jared Anderson, right? Jared Anderson's there in the heavyweight division. He's at 6'4", right? You have guys like Martin Bacoli at 6'6". You have guys like Anthony Joshua there at 6'6". You got guys like Tyson Fury at 6'9", and Deontay Wilder. Unless if you're a guy like Alexander Usyk, who has been in the ring, whether it's sparring, training against a number of heavyweight fighters. He's been in there with the Klitschko's. Okay, this was before he even got into heavyweight. He was in there mixing it up with the Klitschko's before he got to heavyweight. And even then, folks saw what Usyk was about. You feel me? Like, even in the World Series of Boxing, he was getting it in there with Joe Joyce, right? So, there you go. Sabor as Emmanuel Navarrete. Interesting. Emmanuel Navarrete, of course, right now WBO champion at 130. Had that attempt to try to be WBO champion 135, as I mentioned earlier. Lost to Denys Berinchyk. You know what? I feel that Emmanuel Navarrete, right? He could be who would I say that he could potentially face? Because he beat up Oscar Valdez. Like, he beat him from pillar to post for like 6 rounds. He beat him up. Like, almost how he beat him up in the first fight. I thought the first fight was going to get stopped. But this one right here, Oscar Valdez just didn't really stand a chance. All right? So, pretty much blew him out. So, my thing for Emmanuel Navarrete there real quick, a fight with WBO featherweight champion Rafael Espinoza. I feel like that would be an interesting bout between those two fighters. They're pretty much, kind of like, tall for their weight class or whatever it is. So why not have that fight? Espinoza had the win in the rematch against Robeisy Ramirez, right? So why not have those two guys fight? They're both on the top rank. Why not have those two guys fight? I know we had the whole thing with Albert Bell. Albert Bell was as high as number 1 in the WBO at 130. But these folks tripping. WBO be tripping on that. And they had a thing where Albert Bell could have fought for the WBO interim championship. They petitioned for that against who it was, Archie Sharp at the time, or what it was. And WBO denied it. Archie Sharp ended up fighting somebody else, ended up losing, I think it was. And Albert Bell had, for me, they kind of like had put him under, the shelf or whatnot. Because if I'm not mistaken, he was supposed to have a fight, on October, right? October of last year over in Texas. And the fight card didn't, it kind of fell through. So now Albert Bell is like out there, looking around to see if there's where he could fit in and find an opponent and get himself back in the mix at 130 pounds. You feel me? Is a good fight. Tank versus Navarrete. Money? Nah. That ain't what Top Rank is. Mm-mm. Like if Aram knows what fights can make the money for, parties for like Top Rank and, Heyman Boxing, TGB, PBC. That's why he had the whole thing with, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury on 2 separate occasions, because he felt like that fight could generate the money that they're looking for and get the interest from not the folks that are fans like, I would be, or, hardcore fans like shout out to Electro Jet that's on here, Consabor, Juice, Brother Ray, 2 Cents. Like a fight like that wouldn't really interested casual fans. Tank versus Lomachenko would. Tank versus Shakur Stevenson would. Tank versus Devin Haney would. You feel me? But like something like that, no. Not when you could have Tank. Now when you could have somebody that's even lower than Emmanuel Navarrete and Nayo Inoue, where you could have a super fight with Tank Davis and Nayo Inoue, especially when some people feel like Tank Davis could still make 130 pounds. There's that. All right. Says Navarrete is a big Mexican name that brings people. Can become an mega fight. You would have to, bring it up with someone like Bob Arum and see if Bob Arum be like, look, listen, it's Tank Davis who says he's a face of boxing. I got my guy, Navarrete. Navarrete's been doing great. Did great at 122. Doing great at 126. But I don't know what he could do here, while being at 130 pounds. Right? We'll got him. We'll have him fight at 130. We've seen what happened at 135. We tried to get him a belt at 135. So he's going to stay at 130. Now, with that being said, here's the fight for Emmanuel Navarrete at 130 pounds. And I've been calling for this fight for some time now. Unification. WBO champion Emmanuel Navarrete. WBC champion O'Shaquie Foster. O'Shaquie Foster signed that deal with Top Rank. Had a couple of fights under Top Rank, including the fight that happened July 6th, what I mentioned earlier, there against freaking Robeson Conceição, where some people just really didn't even pay attention until the decision came down and they said that Robeson Conceição won that fight, which he ain't win that fight. Ain't no way in hell he won that fight. And then it ended up having a rematch over in Verona, New York, where O'Shaquie Foster got the decision and got back the WBC belt. Now it's time to have that unification. O'Shaquie Foster versus Emmanuel Navarrete. WBC and WBO super featherweight championships. All right, bet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shout out to Jed, man. Hit the like button if you enjoying this thing here for the Midweek Report. Hit the like button, man. He said, "Oh, geez, what up though? Yo, he's up there in Norfolk, man. So already tempted to pull up for the Keyshawn fight. But if they add Kelvin Davis onto the card, I might just gonna have to understand. Or if they put on Shushu Carrington. Now, I don't think they're gonna put on Shushu Carrington in this card. If he's not, if he's not part of the ESPN card, and if they haven't already included him in that initial ESPN Plus schedule that was announced the other day, and Shushu ain't gonna be part of it. Keyshawn Davis, they added on here. Kelvin Davis, I'm not sure. Would probably think that they would have already added him on, or maybe they'll say something here later on down the line. But I don't think that Kelvin Davis is going to be included on here at this particular instance. You know what I mean? Says, and Ray Davis says Navarrete isn't a balanced fighter. He's easy pickings for the top guys at 130 and 135 pounds. Oscar Valdez has no punch resistance and is a straightforward fighter. I mean, we've seen Oscar Valdez. Yes, he was able to get his world title in the featherweight division, WBO title there in the featherweight division, then go up to your 130 pounds, the super featherweight division, and you'll get the WBO title there, right? or was it the WBC? I forgot. Probably was it WBC where he had stopped that dude with that crazy knockout, right? And then he had the unification fight against Shakur Stevenson in April of, I think it was 2022, and pretty much got schooled by Shakur Stevenson in that fight. It wasn't really good. So he had pretty much reached his peak in those fights against Shakur Stevenson, 2 fights against Emmanuel Navarrete, and that's it there for Oscar Valdez. Feel me? He says Foster Navarrete is good, but remember Lomachenko maybe is done. Look for an escape route as champ. There's Lomachenko's there as the IBF champion at 135 pounds. I don't know, unless if Top Rank has a hint that Lomachenko may be on his way out, then maybe they'll try to set up, Navarrete to fight for a vacant title again at 135 pounds, so I'm not sure. Let me see something here. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, hold up. Man, this thing tripping. Yeah, I think someone tried to go jump on here to the hotline here real fast. Let me see something. Yeah, it just did that, man. Hold on. Let me see something here. If we could jump this thing on. Let me see. I'm gonna see something real fast. See if this will work. Hold on a minute.
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? You on the hotline, man?
Yeah, no, you know who this is, right? This is Electro Jet.
Yo, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Yeah, man, been a good little minute, man. What's happening with you?
Yeah, nothing, man. I was just calling in. I was joking around about the Tank versus Navarrete. Tank is going to fight Natural Pit. We all know this.
No, come on, man.
I got to throw a bad one in there, man. Navarrete versus Oshaki Foster, that's a fight fan's good fight.
Yeah.
That is a fight fan's fight. I would love to see that fight, honestly. To be completely honest, I would pay for that, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. I like those two styles, man. You have the activity there of Emmanuel Navarrete against the defensive style of Oshaki Foster. It would remind me of when Oshaki Foster fought Ray Vargas for that WBC title. So it would be interesting to see how Navarrete would fare against Foster using that style.
But see, the thing is, I would be more concerned for Foster because Foster's not good. Well, I'm not going to say he's not good, but Foster hasn't dealt with somebody that can punch from different angles, those weird angles that Navarrete hits with. You and I both seen Navarrete shoot from across the ring and get someone all the way across the ring. He'll jump and punch. He gets awesome. He's got good accuracy, number one. And the angles in which he comes in from, especially that uppercut, Navarrete, that is something that Foster is not used to.
Yeah,
them strange angles.
Yeah, the thing with Navarrete and his angles is something there, where it could pose an issue for Oshaki Foster. And the thing with what happened with Navarrete against Denys Berinchyk is that Denys Berinchyk had the movement to kind of counter those punches there from Emmanuel Navarrete. The thing with Oshaki Foster, he doesn't necessarily move like that. And just to be honest, ever since he won that WBC title initially against Ray Vargas, Oshaki Foster has been in very tough situations in all of the fights that he's basically been in. If you go through those fights that he had there in the super featherweight division, right after winning the title against Ray Vargas, he had the fight against Eduardo Hernandez where he almost got set up from the get up. If it didn't take for him to get that stoppage at the 12th round, he would have had that fight lost. He would have lost that fight right then and there, right?
I actually agree with you.
Right?
I actually agree Rocky is one of those fighters, though. He surprises people a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and people underestimate. A lot of people underestimate his power and his accuracy, which is kind of sad because he's a really good boxer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think he has a good mix. He has a good mix of offense and defense, but at least for me, with the offense part, he doesn't necessarily have the pop initially. He has to accumulate punches in order to really get at. Yeah,
power.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
accumulative power. Yeah.
So
I don't think I very rarely seen him have that one punch power, but
mhm.
because he can throw punches in bunches.
Yeah.
All right, his combinations are second to none. The guy's got good combinations. Now that would pose a threat to Navarrete, but Navarrete he's got a chin.
Yeah.
Navarrete has been tested, and he's got a chin. Now, does Foster have enough power to put him away? Now, between the two, who's the better? This is where the fight, in my opinion, would be won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the follow-up combinations?
Mm-hmm.
All right, who can close it out? Who
Word.
do you think is the better closer of the two?
Yeah, that would be interesting. At least for me, for this potential matchup, right? I talked about the features that both fighters have, but I didn't necessarily say something in reference to Shaki Foster. If he's able to get what Navarrete does with his offense, and he's able to counter, right? Then we might see something where maybe Navarrete might have an issue, but we have to see what would happen potentially in those first 4 rounds. But yeah, that's a fight that I definitely want to see there under Top Rank here in 2025.
Yeah, we might get what we want to see. And last year wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, I had too many family issues. I haven't been able to. The end of the year for me was bad.
Oh man,
last 6 months. Yeah, I have not been able to watch boxing regularly, but hopefully this year is going to be smoother for me so I can get back into the groove. You know me, I was throwing out videos every week.
Yep.
Yeah, but you notice I haven't been doing it.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. Last year, we had some good fights.
Yeah, we did.
We had some really good fights and some shocking results.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect this year to be even better, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I see this, building off of what happened in 2024, and also from 2023. That 2025 for the sport of boxing is going to be really great.
Yeah. I got a shocker for you. You're probably going to say, "What the hell is wrong with me?" But and I have no reason for this. All right, no reason. So don't ask me why I think. But dude, I think Woodall is gonna beat Simpson. I don't know why, dude, but I think Woodall is gonna shock everybody. What do you think, man?
What, in reference to where?
The fight this coming weekend.
Oh, this weekend, man. Oh shoot. Hold on. Cause I didn't know they had this thing coming up here starting off this weekend, but like it should be with Callum Simpson.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It might happen.
It's the Brit. It's Brit versus Brit. But Woodall is the underdog.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't know why, dude. I got this feeling that Woodall is going to take it, man. And Simpson, don't get me wrong, Simpson is a good fucking boxer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but I don't know why, but I think Woodall is going to take it. And that comes from nowhere. It's not that I think he's a better boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Just something's telling me that this underdog is going to take it this time.
Word.
One of those feelings. That's it, man.
Word, for sure. So yeah, I'll see how that one turns out with that headlining bout with Simpson versus Woodall. They're supposed to have also Caroline Dubois and Jessica Kamara on for that night too as well. So that's part of that card as well.
Yeah, I got Dubois taking that one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What we got here? Sabor is saying like you would love to see Abraham Nova versus Osaki Foster too.
That would be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be interesting. You know, I was at that fight, the first fight. You know, a number of people, felt like Abraham Nova did have a good showing there against Osaki Foster, and just fell on the short end of the thing there for the decision. So that could be something there to see how that would turn out.
To be completely honest, though, I think that if they met up again, I think Foster would have an easier time of it. To be completely honest, I think Foster would take it, and he'd probably do it before the 10th. That's just my honest opinion. The last time, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think Foster is going to learn and take advantage of Nova's lack in defense, because when he drops to that guard after a combination, I think Foster is going to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and the thing is, Nova has had a few tough breaks there. With the Foster loss, and then the Cortez fight. Like a number of people felt like he beat Andres Cortez in that one or whatnot, and then after that, fighting Humberto Galindo to a split draw too. So it was a really tough year there for Abraham Nova in 2024.
Yeah. No, 2024 was not his best outing.
Yeah, for sure.
Not by a long shot.
Yep.
Let me get off of here, my brother. I'll let you do your thing. It's just good to talk to you, man. I haven't talked to you in a hot minute, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, like you said, man, you had a lot of things going down there the back half of 2024, but we'll see you out and about here in 2025, man. Looking forward to seeing from you.
All right, my brother. And God bless, and salute to the chat and everything. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, for sure, man. God bless. Yeah, that's brother Electro Jet. There's been on here, of course, has his channel on YouTube and has participated in multiple chats there within the boxing circles as well. Shout out to OGs again. He says he sees Murray going the IBF route, and Keyshawn being next in line for that as he beat Gustavo Lemos, which people forget is the IBF eliminator. All right, so I'll go back to what I was talking about there with Keyshawn Davis in that Gustavo Lemos fight at Scope Arena in Norfolk. Yeah, for the weeks leading into the fight, it was billed as an IBF eliminator bout, right? And then you had the whole joint with Gustavo Lemos saying, "You know what, man? I ain't no way I'm making 135 pounds. That ain't happening." So what it was the day before, he has that crazy weight for the weigh-in, and then you had the joint where you had to weigh a certain amount before the fight, and it was the day of the fight. And I'm telling you, Gustavo Lemos pretty much like he trained himself to try to get to that particular weight. I think it's what 10 pounds, right? So 145, right? So he barely made it there at 145. And like I was saying before, if he make it to 145 pounds, he wasn't gonna make it out of Norfolk. I'm telling you, they were gonna make it get out of Norfolk because ain't no way they were gonna cancel that fight. Ain't no way they were gonna cancel that main event. Nope, that wasn't gonna happen. He was gonna make 145 pounds. Listen, all right. So then the fight happened, right? Keyshawn gets the win, 2-round stoppage. Now, here's the thing that had me, raise my eyebrow. Has a whole thing with the IBF eliminator, but he has like multiple, minor titles, right? Where he had the the WBO International or something like that, right? But also, a representative of the WBO was there in the ring with Keyshawn Davis while he was holding them belts up, right? Hold on. Let me see if I got it though. I'm gonna go on to the Box Source website, right? Of course, right? And I'm gonna see here if I got this thing on for the fighting and photos, right? And you got Keyshawn Davis there, of course, like I said, had the stoppage and all of that, right? All right, let me see here. All right, bet. So here you go. I'm gonna see here if this thing will come up. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share. Yeah, we're gonna share this joint here, right? So all right, bet. This should be the photo right here. All right. So you got the referee, and look at the referee. Look at the referee. What boxing organization has is on there? All right, there you go. On top of that, personal over there to Keyshawn's right, or at least my left, or left side of the picture. He is representative of the WBO. Who'd you say? Hey man, I'm telling you, hey, yo, when Gustavo Lemos was walking down the ring, they were like, "Boo!" It was like, "Hey, it's like, hey, you lucky you made that weight, dog, because yo, we, I'm telling you, people would go try to find Gustavo Lemos if he didn't make that weight. I'm telling you, yo, but he made it. He at least he was able to step in the ring. We got in there, he got paid or whatever. So there's that. But you had Keyshawn Davis there with the intro. What was that? Booker T. Washington High School marching band was out there. You know what I'm saying? From down the road, pretty much like what 5 or 10 minutes from Scope Arena is the high school there, right? But like I said, Keyshawn was able to show up, show out, and like I said, you see the WBO logo on the referee right there, and you see the representative of WBO over there on the other side, and he has that WBO belt that's right there. So listen, that's when I was like, hey, looks like they trying to go that WBO route, and that's exactly what was going down, right? So there it is. There you go, right? So Murray going the IBF route, I mean, that's possible. What did I say? You have Murray at number. Let me make sure here. You should be at number. What it is? Number 4 currently in the IBF, but I think either this week or right before the fights on February 14th, the IBF will remove Keyshawn Davis from the rankings, and then that will have Raymond Murataya move up there in the IBF rankings. So either you can have Ray Murataya there vying for that IBF title there at lightweight, and then we'll see what goes on. Like I said, with Keyshawn Davis and Denys Berinchyk. So that will like kind of sort out the lightweight division a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was WBO. Yeah, what was it? WBO Continental title, whatnot. Yeah, so I'll get it. I'll get it for sure here in a bit because Keyshawn has had that belt for a good little bit though. The Intercontinental lightweight title, like he's had that Intercontinental lightweight title since his fight against Juan Carlos Burgos, man. So he's had, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times he's defended that WBO Intercontinental lightweight title. You know what I'm saying? So that's something. And he's had the WBC USA lightweight title since about 2023. So hey, he's had those minor titles there for a little bit, but yeah, that IBF USBA or IBF Intercontinental title, that was on the line there for that Lemos fight. I mean, that's one thing, but WBO is like, it's the WBO. And I said it before, I'll say it again. WBO, what Bob orders. So there you go, right? So at least for this fight coming up February 14th, not much of a surprise. WBO, top rank, you know how I go, all right? So that's how that's going to shape up, right? So, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, what it'll be about, like probably about 30 minutes or so. I'm gonna make a decision to figure out what I'm gonna do. Either show up on Friday morning or Thursday. I don't know. Maybe I should show up Thursday because I I want to at least be there, for the weigh-in and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna probably just show up on Thursday, stay at Thursday, stay at Friday, and be done with it Saturday, and that's that. So definitely looking forward to that particular matchup. And like I said, tickets will be on sale on Thursday at 12 o'clock. Right, Thursday at 12 o'clock. So y'all caught them tickets, especially if you there, supporting Keyshawn Davis. It's like I was talking about with the Scope Arena, how fast them tickets sold for Scope Arena. If you have these tickets here selling fast, here for the theater at Madison Square Garden, then that'll really be something there for Keyshawn Davis. You're going from this point forward. So that's going to also be key as well for Top Rank to kind of like say, okay, us putting our energy towards Keyshawn Davis like we did here by the end of 2024, carrying over to 2025 is gonna really pay off well for us. So we'll see how that goes. In comparison to what I was saying about this guy over here that I'm kind of virtually pointing to in Teofimo Lopez, completely different story, isn't it? Yeah. So that's pretty much what I had in reference to those two topics. What we had happen earlier today. Jai Opataya putting David Nayika to sleep. It's literally putting them to sleep. I mean, goodness gracious, that was just something there. Like I'm telling you, Jai Opataya there in the cruiserweight division gonna be a real menace. And I know we have a unified champion there in Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, who defeated Chris Billum-Smith by decision to become unified champion. But Jai Opataya, man, he on something else. He definitely on something else. You feel me? So you got that's going on. Like I said, we have fights that are coming up on the 11th of January. Having some action that's coming up, like I said, January 25th, you're gonna have Diego Pacheco versus Steven Nelson. You're gonna have Andy Cruz that's going to be fighting on that card as well. It's gonna be a pretty good card there, January 25th. But y'all know what I'm looking forward to. February 1st, Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, David Benavidez versus David Morrell Jr. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be crazy. Like I'm telling you, that's gonna be a fight, right? Now, with that being said, remember from yesterday, did a film study there with David Morrell Jr. against Mike Gavronsky. For tomorrow, I'll do film study for David Benavidez. Now, as far as like who I will have him with going up against, it might be David Benavidez versus Porky Medina, or the rematch that David Benavidez had against Ronald the Thrill Gavril. But we'll see how that turns out. But also on tomorrow, should be on through the Premier Boxing Champions YouTube page. I think it is. We're going to see if they're going to have that open workout, a media workout that's going to feature David Benavidez. He's going to be on there. He's going to be featured there for the workouts. Who else is going to be on there? Let me see here if I got it. Yeah, Brandon Figueroa Jr. is going to be there in Las Vegas. And also Jason Rosario is going to take part in this media workout that's going to be on Thursday, starting at around 12:15, 12:30 Pacific time, so about 3:15, 3:30 Eastern time. So we're gonna have that. All right. So y'all look forward to that. And oh, come on, man. Come on. We gonna do this. We gonna do this tonight. Come on, y'all. What are we doing? But that's it. That's it for me for the midweek report. We'll get back at it when it comes to the Boxing Source podcast scheduled for Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll see y'all then. Biggest for everyone that's been able to listen live. Biggest for everyone that's watching the replay. Shout out to brother Electrojet for calling in. And that's it for me on this side. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.